Hey guys, Big Will back one more time with a little hand wrap video. I had to do maybe like a little amateur hand wrap to keep someone's hand safe while they're doing like an amateur competition or pro competition or whatever. So make sure that while you're doing it, your fighter keeps their hands stretched out like this, not loose or weak. What I'm going to do is actually, you can loosen up right there. To get prepared for this, I'm going to take my gauze and just around my fingers, I'll kind of measure your knuckles around my fingers. I'm going to make a pad. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers here about 15 or 20 times to make myself a little pad for her knuckles. So that way when she's striking or whatnot, or punching somebody in the head or doing whatever, she doesn't break her knuckles or hurt her hand. So we'll keep wrapping this up here. Alright, so now I'm going to start here. So I'll slide that little pad thing off my finger, load it on the knuckle. So now it's going to be nice support there. I'm going to go kind of towards the thumb, around towards the pinky. Once I get this wrapped around once, maybe twice, I'll fold that down to make an even bigger pad. Again, this is really important for the knuckles. You do not want someone to break their knuckle or break their hand or whatnot. So now I've got a really thick, solid pad right there. Now I'm going to start getting some cross support. So I'm going to go from the pinky towards the thumb and the wrist, around the wrist, nice and snug, back up towards the index finger, around, back and down, back towards the index finger, pinky, around the knuckles. And again, I'm just kind of building like this X. So you can see when I go down, it goes across and then back up, so it makes kind of like an X. It's going to give me some good support there. Don't drop it, because that messes everything up. Now, depending on the person, I like to do it. You can wrap the knuckle, or excuse me, the thumb as well. And then I'll just go down and around the thumb, back to around the wrist, and start back over and do my X again. Here. There, go around again. I'll do the thumb one more time for good measure. Make sure it's nice and secure. Back down the wrist. Back up towards the index finger, towards the pinky. I should be running out and end it right back down here. And once it's down there, I'll get a little bit of tape. I'll anchor it down. Then I'm going to use some smaller strips of tape to get the webbing in between the fingers and get all that held down and tightened up. Nice and snug. There, now I'm going to have her palm over. I'm going to start cleaning this up a little bit. Don't want it too messy down here. I like making this nice and tight so you have more of an open palm. So if you're doing MMA, you don't want a whole lot of gauze padding here constricting the palm. If someone's trying to grab your wrist or grab a hold of something, trying to grab me, you're not going to have as good of a grip there if you have a whole lot of stuff here. So I'm going to keep this nice and tight. I'm going to take these strips that I made before. Open your fingers up, please. Thank you. I'm going to go in the middle of the webbing. I'm going to use that nice and tight to keep that secure. Flip over. And I'll just take this down the hand, holding that knuckle pad tight. Back over and keeping the palm free and open. Do one more. Back over. Okay, good. So that's the gauze layer. A little anchor on the wrist to hold the gauze layer down. Got a very nice thick knuckle padding up here. Depending on what rules you're fighting and what organization stuff you're fighting, For the most part, they're not going to let you do a whole lot of tape over the knuckles, or if any at all. So when you go back over and you look here, like just take your index finger or make a fist, and you can see right here my index finger, like that's the knuckle. So the tape's got to be kind of behind that and down. So when I start doing my taping, I have to really be mindful of that, making sure I'm not going over the knuckles and taping the hands illegally. When I do the tape, it's going to be very similarly done to how I did the gauze. I'm going to go back up towards the index finger, watching out for those knuckles, around the palm, keeping it snug. From the palm, I'm going to go back down, making the X towards the wrist. It's a nice figure 8, keeping everything nice and snug, nice and secure. And again, if you get here, be careful not to go too tight. But you can go around that thumb, not going too snug as to keep it immobile, but snug enough for some support. Once I've got a couple of my X's down, the wrist is pretty tight. When I come back up to the fist here, I'm going to have her make a fist. While I'm wrapping around, just make a tight fist. Good. And that's going to keep everything in there nice and tight. Open up. And make a fist. Good. Keeping it all down. Good. Open up. And make a fist. And open up. Good. And make a fist. Oops. Too tight there. Open up. So while you're doing that, just be in communication with your fighter here. Talk to him. Make sure it's not too tight, too loose. You don't want to cut off any circulation, but at the same time, it's super, super important that the support's good. Because again, obviously, you don't want anybody to break their hand or injure their hand while they're doing this. If you go back to the palm and things are a little bit tight, you can open them up a little bit towards the pinky and the palm if they're a little bit too tight. You just have to communicate with your fighter. Yeah, it's pretty good. Make it a tight fist. You can check the knuckles, which are good. Thumb's good. Wrist is good. When I was having to do the fist open thing, you can tell if you look at someone's hand, if it's loose here, as soon as they make like a really tight fist, it's going to kind of come out or stretch out on the outside. So you want to make sure that when they have that tight fist and they're striking, they've got a lot of support on those metacarpals on the outside of the pinky and index finger. It's really tight out here. So yeah, that's about that. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.